Alright, I am back again with another video, and we're going to talk about 5 pairs. Today we're going to look at a couple trading opportunities. With those 5 pairs we'll be using mostly Ichimoku. We're going to use a little bit of divergence, and before we even do that we're going to start off with the news. Currently I'm letting you see that I do have a membership that's available. It's a lifetime membership, one-time fee. And that's going to last from now until Monday morning, January 23rd. So if you're interested in becoming a member of my site, there's so much to offer, and I'll talk about that at the end of this video. But I'm going to get started. What I usually do with our weekly members is we do start off with our video with the news. We want to look at the news and see what is happening. Alright, so the main thing that we like to look at news is if there's news and we know that we're in a trade or a possible trade. If there's major news like the high impact news, then we get out of the trade or we don't trade during that time, or you're going to really tighten up your stop loss. Alright, but you always want to know if there's news, because you don't want to get into a trade and then all of a sudden the trade goes against you because some big major news event comes out and you don't know about. So here you can see what's happening with the news. We have Monday with the euro at 6:30 p.m. Then Tuesday we have 4:30 a.m. with the pound. 7:30 p.m. you have the Aussie. Then 4 a.m. on Wednesday we have the euro. Then 10:30 a.m. US dollar. And then 4:45 p.m. New Zealand dollar. Now once again, these are high impact news events which are more than likely going to have a better chance of moving the market than lower impact news events. Then Thursday we have 4:30 with the pound, 8:30 a.m. with the US dollar, and then we close out the week 8:30 a.m. with 2 US dollar news events. So you want to be careful on those dates and those times if you are in a trade with one of these pairs. So always want to know that. Always check your news before you get to trading. Alright, so let's go to the charts and see exactly what we want to be looking at. Alright, so here I'm going to just stay basically with one time frame so we don't cause any kind of confusion. I like to look at double time frames. I look at the daily and the 4 hour, but I'm just going to look at the daily and talk much about that. So right now we have the Aussie US dollar. Sorry, not the Aussie US dollar, the Aussie yen on the daily time frame, and we're looking at this for a possible short trade. Okay, now you could see basically you see this top here, and this level happened basically on 12/15, so we're here at 119, so that's over a month ago. We had this double top here that's going to be, and then you could see back here how this level was really a strong support and resistance level. Here it was resistance, here, back here it was support. Alright, so I'm going to go back and show you guys just how strong this level is. Back here it was resistance, then scattered out and came support. A little bit of resistance here, and it's not exactly touching that level because support and resistance is not a level, it's an area. It's not an exact line or level, it's an area. And then we come to this point where we have hitting that level twice. This is the second attempt from this point, so we'll call this a double top right here. Now when I look at this pair, Ichimoku starting to show signs of weakness here because you got a TK crossover that was bearish, and then we got another crossover. So when you're starting to get crossovers like that, it lets you know that the market's more than likely going to be ranging or is ranging. Chiku span is starting to be inside of price. It's a little bit above price, but it's inside this realm right here. So we don't want anything in Chiku span's way. So that lets me know there's more than likely more ranging. And then we got a thick cloud, which is a lot of volatility. With volatility, then again we probably have more ranging. So with that, we see this top here. Now I'm using the ultimate oscillator. I'm going to use it as a divergence indicator. So when we have this top here, I'm going to mark it out for you so you can see exactly what I'm looking at. I'm going by this top, and I'm going by the top again. So the price made the same level tops, all right, and the oscillator made lower level tops. So that means that's bearish divergence. Now we do have a nice little signal here. So we like to have a signal and a trigger. So we're looking at this. A lot of our signals are going to be price action signals. And then we trade levels. Levels will be all kinds of levels. We have different levels that we look at. some of the most important things that I do look at are fractals. So fractals help me to stay directly with the market and not trade the wrong direction. And you could probably say, oh, well, yeah, just trade with the trend. That's easier said than done. All right. But then you see these crossovers. So Ichimoku is giving me signs that the market is weakening now with the thick cloud here, flat bottom here. I mean, you could probably find support down at this point, but we already have a level what we're looking at for support. So looking at this top level, I'm looking for the market to bounce off of this level and move to the downside, all right? Because I think we're going to see sideways movement for a little bit based off of what Ichimoku is showing me. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to happen. If we violate this level, close above, then we know what the market's doing, right? More than likely, that'll mean I'm wrong and it's going to the top side. But I like to play my probabilities. So the way I trade is look for probabilities with high support and resistance levels, or levels that we trade at, maybe like your Tenkan-sen, your Kijin-sen, your Kumo Cloud, a lot of other areas. And if you have a setup at that level, then that's where you trade. So I'm looking for a short entry here. I'm going to let the market open up and see what it does. A lot of times the market will gap up and then drop back into that zone and back into that range and fall to the downside. All right, so we'll be looking for that, see what happens with the Aussie yen on Sunday when the market opens. Let's go to the New Zealand dollar yen. Do we have that up here? Yes, we do. All right, so this is pretty much looking like the same thing, the exact same thing. All right, I'm going to mark it again. Now, we don't have much divergence here, but I'm looking for this market to move a little higher. So now I am going to look at a double, another time frame here, because we got a TK crossover on the daily that's bearish. So again, we're looking at the market that could be ranging. All right, because we were ranging back here, you got a lot of volatility again. Chiku span has fallen below price, but it's inside this price realm, which is important to me. And then you see how we had a lot of range in here. And then the market violated. We broke above the Kijin-sen, but we have a top here. So I think if the market will probably make it to that top, and if we hit that top, more than likely you'll see something like this. So this is what you'll probably see, and it'll set up for the same exact thing that we looked at on the Aussie yen. But I'm looking for a trade right now to the upside. All right, and I'm going to go to the 4-hour time frame to show you. All right, so when the market moves higher, we might have divergence again, a bearish divergence, as we had on the Aussie yen. Now that's moving ahead of ourselves, so we want to look at what we're looking at now to get into a trade. So if we're looking at getting into a trade, we're going to go to the 4-hour time frame, and we're going to look for a trade to the upside. Now we have a trade here that we call the walking dragon, and you got a TK crossover, and then a lot of times after a good 10 candles, the market pulls back to Tenkan-sen, Kijin-sen area, and then you could see the market take off again. So we're inside this TK zone here between the Tenkan-sen and the Kijin-sen. Your green line here is your Tenkan-sen, then your Kijin-sen. So we're going to look for a bounce in this area, a bounce off of this level. We'll look for a nice price action bounce, and we'll trade this to the upside. Now our target's going to be, first we set our target at this level. We want to see the market move from this point to this level and then to this top here. So what we're looking for is a bounce in this area. I'm going to mark it out. So we could see the market move a little lower, maybe get off of this level, maybe bounce off Tenkan-sen here, off of the Kijin-sen here. Then we should see the market go to this point at least, because that's going to be a resistance level, and then we'll look for the market to go even higher, all right, to our target that we're talking about, which would be, let's go back to that level. That's going to be 83,504. All right, so we're looking for the market to bounce around in this area here, get a nice entry off of price action, and move to the upside. All right, so that's looking at New Zealand dollar yen. We're going to go to the CAD yen. We have that up here. No, we don't. Let's bring that up. So CAD yen, looking at a couple things here. Now Ichimoku showing me move to the downside, because basically you could see here not really any divergence, so we're not looking at that. Kind of sideways a little bit, but we got a TK crossover right here that's bearish, so we're going to go with all the Ichimoku signs. Now we just want to find our entry here. All right, so we got a TK crossover, bearish. We're not bearish here, but we got a lot of volatility. All right, and then we got Chiku span below price, and we're still above the cloud with Kijinsen, so you got mixed signals, right? But the big thing we're looking at is this TK crossover that's bearish, a lot of volatility, and then Chiku span falling below price. All right, so we may see, now this is going to be a support and resistance level here, so the market may find support and come back to this point, then go. But I'm looking for the market, if we can get through this level here, looking for the market to continue to the downside. All right, so let me see what it looks like on the 4-hour time frame. Let's go to the 4-hour, see what that looks like. Yeah, so 4-hour don't really look like we got a good trade set up yet, right? A lot of junk in here. I don't like to trade a market that's really junky like this, and we're trading inside of one candle. Been trading inside of this candle for quite a while. All right, haven't been really outside of this one candle here. So a lot of times I teach my people to box that market in, then let that market tell you where it's going. All right, right now it's not telling you anything really. It's staying inside that level. All right, so currently nothing there, nothing happening yet, and we'll just be patient, wait on this. But I'm looking for a possible move to the downside. You can see 4 hours bearish, all signs are bearish. TK crossover is bearish. You had a bearish crossover here and then a little crossover right here when the market went sideways. Your twist is bearish, so you got a dark future, Chiku span way below price, and price below the cloud. So all signs are bearish there. We'll be looking for the trade to the downside, and that's going to be on the CAD yen. All right, so let's go to the Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie on the daily time frame. Now I'm not really using Ichimoku here because, guys, Ichimoku doesn't really do you any justice. This is a daily time frame. It doesn't do you much justice when it's sideways like this and you're getting all these crossovers. So Ichimoku doesn't really help you. It doesn't really, this is not the atmosphere that Ichimoku set for. Ichimoku set for a trending market that's moving to the downside or upside, not a sideways market. So a lot of times I won't use Ichimoku. So I'm going to take it off real quick and just look at this trade opportunity. So basically you could see we have a strong level here. Eventually we're going to get through that level, but right now I see some divergence, not really much divergence, so we can't really go by divergence here on the daily time frame. So I'm looking for the market to violate, to bounce on this level and move to the upside, because I'm going to continue to play support and resistance as it's always been until it violates. All right, and then we have a nice little rejection here, so we're looking for the market to bounce off of this level and possibly move to the upside. Who knows how far? We could see it move up to this area somewhere. All right, but you can see basically, let me go back to here. You can see we're in a nice triangle pattern, got a flat bottom here. All right, so the more you have this pattern, the more the price is getting compressed till eventually it breaks out either to the upside or downside. All right, but when I look at that, you do see a little bit of divergence because you see the flat level here, right? But you can see how you got divergence moving to the upside here. So let me show you that real quick. I'm looking at this flat price level, but from that point you could see the divergence as the oscillator moved to the upside. All right, so we're going to look for price to bounce and move a little bit to the upside. All right, and then that's going to be our trade. That's going to be a nice setup for us, quite possibly. So if we reject and close below all these levels, then you never get your trade off, and the market's going to continue to drop to the downside more than likely. All right, so that's going to be on our Euro Aussie, and now we're going to go to the pound yen, close it out on the pound yen. Pound yen daily time frame, got a nice little setup developing here. Just going to look at the daily time frame here, talk about that. Now see, you can see how price dropped to the downside here and it didn't go through that cloud. Why? Because that cloud future is still bright. All right, so that means a lot of times you're not going to see price just violate that level to go down to this cloud here and then bounce up to the upside and then attack again. By the time it attacks the next time, you should see a turnover and you should see a dark future, which would be, you get this move to the downside, this will stay flat, and then you see the market move to the down. You'll see your Kumu cloud move to the downside. All right, so what happens is right now this bottom here, this is going to be your span B. This is your span A. And you can see how it's starting to roll over. And then you should see it continue to roll over and span B start to drop. Alright. Now, with that said, you got a TK crossover here that's bearish. Chiku span right here is below price. That's bearish. This is not bearish yet, and price is above the cloud currently, so that's still bullish, and this is still bullish. So you got two mixed signals. But the strong thing that we see is how we're turning over here. Alright. And then the next thing that we see, we got a resistance level. Support and resistance level here with this nice flat Kijinsen. Now, I want to see price not violate that level. If price doesn't violate that level, then we'll probably see price bounce off of this level and move to the downside. So my current opportunity that I'm looking at is this. I need to see more price action and see price bounce off of that level and move to the downside. And we'll shoot for our target way down there at 125.377. But we're going to have to get through this cloud. And then we get through that cloud. Now if we wait, we don't have to take this bounce here. We can wait, be patient, get a crossover here. Future will be dark. Then we get a Kumo breakout. So there's a trading opportunity here and then another one here. Alright, so we don't catch this, we'll still catch this. Alright, a lot of drawing there, a lot of sloppiness. Alright, but that's going to be it. That's what we're looking at, the pound yen. So going to look at real quick, show you guys a couple things, so you know what I have, and possibility for you guys to be a part of this also if you want to. Alright, so I showed you currently that I have an offer here for a lifetime membership, and that's going to last till Monday morning, and then that offer is going to be off the table. Alright, so you get a lot of things with the offer. Alright, so you're going to get online video courses, weekly webinars, members forum, members chat room, weekly market forecasts and daily market forecasts, live market forecasts. These will be live. Most of them will be live. We do this in a webinar. Then I have online training, and then we have trade setups, and then we have one-on-one private training. So that's what you can get with your membership for just $250, a one-time fee for a lifetime membership. And that won't last any longer than Monday morning, January 23rd. Alright, and also I'm going to show you a couple little things what that looks like. Here's our chat room. I'm going to go to the chat room. You can see our chat room here. So I post a lot of trades in here. So you have our chat room here, and then we have our notification here. So this is our notification where I send out trade setups, and you could catch them here. It'll automatically text to your phone when I place a trade setup here, and you could catch that. And then as I said, this is our chat room. Gonna show you our forum real quick, show you what's in there. This is our forum. So inside the forum we have trade setups and alerts. I post some of them in here. Alright, post a lot of stuff in there. So these are all videos. Let's go back. Webinar schedule, I put schedule in here when we're going to have a webinar. A lot of webinar replays are in here. And then weekly and daily market forecasts are in here. These will be videos. Your educational videos are in here. And then just a lot of other stuff that we talk about. Your trade setups and everything. And then some members have journals. Some members do. And they post their trades in here. Alright, and you can look at each member's journal. Alright, so that's what we offer. I think I'm not trying to rip anyone off. I think I do a good job at really giving you as much information as possible and giving you as much as possible. Try to make more things and do more things. So whatever members desire and want, I'm always open to do whatever they need or whatever they want. So I'd love to have you as part of our community, grow big, and just be one big family with us. Alright, hopefully guys you enjoyed this video. Hope you get something out of it. Until next time, have a great one and God bless. So long.